Now, before we get going, this is a very difficult topic, okay? This is tricky. So give it your best shot, but don't overly worry if you're not that successful with this one. We will visit it again, and it's right at the top end of where we need to be. So what we're trying to do here is work out the surface area of a cylinder. So if you've got a cylinder, so you all know what a cylinder is. The dimensions that we're going to use, we're going to call the radius the radius. Obviously, we're going to use h for the height of the cylinder. Now, imagine you are covering that in wrapping paper. You have got three sides. You've got the top and the bottom, which are both circles. Okay, so that's easy enough to work out those areas. All right, so with all these questions, as I said before, just pull out all the surfaces and draw them as a working. So just talking about the top and the bottom, we know how easy it's going to be to work out those areas, because that's just going to be the area of a circle like we practiced yesterday. So the area of each of those is going to be pi r squared. That's what we did yesterday. Now, imagine this curved surface area here, the curved surface area. If you were to imagine a kitchen roll, for example, and you went and cut along it, and you flattened it out, you would get a rectangle. So that curved surface area is this rectangle that I've drawn over here on the right, and clearly we can see the height of the rectangle would be h. Now, as you unfold that kitchen roll, can you see that the circumference of the circle, and by that, remember, that's all the way around there, the circumference of the circle will form the other length of the rectangle. So this is the key bit over here, guys. The base of the rectangle is going to be the circumference of the circle. And if you remember from Cottage Pie's Delicious, the circumference of a circle is pi times the diameter. Okay, so when we're going to be working out the area of each of these rectangles, we're going to have to do base, which is pi times diameter, multiplied by the height, which is h. So let's just go and model one of these. Okay, I'm just going to make one of these up, and I just want this on the video so you can see. Let's go and say that the height is 6, and let's go and say that the radius there, let's say, is 4 centimeters. Okay, and the height is, so we're saying the height is 6 centimeters. So we've got a couple of circles, and we're going to work out those areas by doing pi r squared each time. So that's going to be pi times 4 times 4, and pi times 4 times 4, which is going to be 16 pi and 16 pi. Just leave it in pi for now. Now the tricky bit. Let's go and unwrap that curved surface area. Now we've got a height, which is easy. The height is 6, but this length here, this base, is the circumference of the circle. As you unwrap that kitchen roll, that circumference there is forming this length down here. So that length there is going to be pi times the diameter. And remember, the diameter of the circle is twice the radius. That's the diameter. So the diameter equals 8. So that length there is going to be pi times 8, which is obviously 8 pi. So our base is 8 pi. So what is the area of that rectangle? It's 8 pi times 6. 6 eighths are 48. So that area is 48 pi. And then finally, therefore, to work out the total surface area, you're going to add the 16 pi to the 16 pi to the 48 pi. Okay, 16 add 16 is 32. 32 add 48 equals 80. So your final answer would be 80 pi. Now the question may ask you to leave it in terms of pi, or it may ask you to go and use your SD button to give it to 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places. So let's just quickly go over that again. So surface area of a cylinder, top and bottom are 2 circles. That should be easy enough, pi r squareds. when we fold out, when we flatten that curved surface area, we get a rectangle with a height of h, that was the 6, but with the base of the circumference of the circle. Circumference is pi times diameter. Remember, diameter is twice the radius. So that's going to be pi times 8, which was 8 pi. So this is going to be a challenge, but I would like you to try and do Hegarty 586. Now, I propose, a bit like when we did the surface area of triangular pyramids, that I'm only going to look at the first 6 questions here. So what I would like you to do, please, just go and do the first 6 questions. But when I say probably leave these, what I really mean is if you are leaving them, can you just go and put in fake answers? Can you just go and put in 0, 0, 0 and 0 and keep getting them wrong? Because that's what actually finishes the Hegarty, allowing me to see the mark. But I will, of course, then go back in and adjust your mark. So if you go and get the first 6 right, I will give you 100%. So just leave 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay. Now, I've modelled some of these here. Now, I don't propose to take long going over these again, because I'll be just repeating what I said. But just really quickly, okay, we've got the pi r squared, we've got the circle at the front, the circle at the back, and the rectangle. And note how the base of the rectangle is pi times diameter. Okay, that's pi times 2 lots of 8. Okay. So I've then worked out the 3 surface areas, and then I've added those 3 together to get 400 pi. Okay, now you'll see for questions 1 and 2, you've got to give your answers to 1 decimal place, and note how they give you the radius to start with for questions 1 and 2. When you do 3 and 4, note how they give you the diameter now. So when you need the radius, you're going to have to halve that. And note how they're now asking for 3 significant figures. Now, some of you are still getting the significant figure bit wrong, and that's very frustrating when you've got everything else right. Frustrating for you, I mean. So with this answer here, do you see we got 5654.8 something? I can't read that, and it's got a black box on top of me. Let's say it's at 80. 3 significant figures means you've just only allowed 3 numbers that are not zeros. So 5, 6, 5, and then a 0 to get the right number of digits. All right, that's 5,006. So if you get a question like this, 3 significant figures, your final answer would be 5650. It does not mean 3 decimal places. Okay. So that's questions 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6. I think in a way these are the easier ones. You've got to give your answers in terms of pi. So your final answer would be in terms of pi. But note, the question gives you the diameter, not the radius. Now, just for the purpose, just in case, I think it's highly unlikely, but any of you wanted to do the other questions as an extension activity, I'm just going to pop up the answers for 7, 8, 9 and 10. So here's 7. There's an example for 7 and 8. And that was really hard. There's an example for 9 or 10. So I don't expect you to do those. Those are just as an extension activity if you wish to have a go. Okay, guys, thanks for listening in. Bye.